All spaces of Rescue Marriage and Relationship Initiative, the NGO. This particular NGO has its own definition and attachment to issues concerning the family. Our interest is to rescue marriages that are in trouble and to also empower relationships to come up the best. And so if you have any issues around yourself, personal issues or a communal issue, and you want some definitions, some explanations concerning those issues, please don't hesitate to get across to us. It's not just about me. I have a team, and that my team is also attached to other teams. We have specialties and people who are looking after those special areas. Today I want to take a part that has to do with parenting. Parenting is a very, very important issue in family and in relationship. A lot of people take it for granted, but the fact remains that if our families are good, it's because parents who are part of that family have actually built the families to be good. And what are we expecting from families? Families should be able to produce the young ones, proceeds of those families coming out to be better than their parents. And so the best I can do as a person is giving to the society children who are better than me in every facet. And if I leave children who are not better than me in any way, that means I have not done well, because the better tomorrow will start from you, and that you is being able to hand over to the next generation a better you. And so I just want to give out tips that will help you as a parent to produce wonderful children. In gender issues concerning what I'm rolling out now, it might just be she and he, the female gender. But in a case where it's not the same with you, just change it so that it will sound he instead of she. But the message is what we need to pass on. Parenting is actually from conception till death do you part. Some people will think that, okay, the parenting will start when the child is born, and as soon as the child gets into his or her own family, parenting stops. No. Just like marriage is separated by death, so parenting and being a child will be separated by death. And so if you are a great grandfather, congratulations, you have done a bit in the life of your own child who has born other children. And so parenting continues, and it's just being able to pass to the next generation the real you that has valued the world, the real you that the world has gained from. And like I said earlier on, if the products of the real you are not better than you have not done your part as a parent. And so parenting in a form of emphasis will only end by death. And so what are we expected as parents to do to our children during the time that they are growing up to become adults, during their lifetime? It's important that parenting comes up right from a time a child is born, visibly so. I had mentioned earlier that parenting will start from conception. Yes, from conception. I am not a woman, but I have been told that as a pregnant woman, if you have your baby kicking so badly in the womb, you can parts just touch your stomach and appeal to the baby, to the fetus in the womb to be calm. Surprisingly, a lot of people will tell me they will obey and be calm. And so that is where parenting starts. At the point you'll be able to communicate to the fetus, to the child in your womb, that is where parenting starts. And so we have also agreed on where it ends, till death do you part. So the following that I will list are some of the things you as a parent can do to keep your child during this period. Number one is to set up a special time to read books with your toddler. Set up a special time to read books with your toddler. Remember, I said that I will prefer the feminine identity in discussing this. It's not because of anything, but I would like to use she in my delivery than struggling with he or she. And so for a child that is a toddler, these days we have children start the formal learning from very early age. And so you see a child that is maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and the child is already registered in a school, so that the parents can afford to have the time to attend to the things that they do to earn money. And so children start school very early, very, very early. And you see a situation where parents leave the education of that child entirely for the school. The message I'm bringing to you is that you find a space to be part of that education by getting books that you can read to your child, even when that child is a toddler. Number two, encourage your child to take part in pretend play. I know when we were growing up, there were plays that lead to hide and seek. Pretend play is a kind of play where you have every identity of a reality in the play. If it needs to be father, mother, child, the father, mother will be part of it. The child will still play his or her own part. And so that helps the child to develop relationship in the play. For some of them who will get so engrossed in that play, at the end of it, when you are calling it short, they will still be begging you, Daddy, no, let's do it again. Okay? So you encourage your child to take part in pretense play. It helps. The next to it will be you play parade or follow the leader. You play parade or follow the leader with your child. Why is it necessary to talk of parade or follow the leader? It's necessary because the child should learn to follow instruction. So do what the leader does is following an instruction. And so the child is not carried away or want to wait for that instruction that you give, that the child will want to continue from the explanations you are giving. The number 4 is that you help your child to explain things around her by taking her on a walk or a wagon ride. Wagon ride can just be a ride in your car, but let the child be in a place where she will observe things. If you are walking in the first place, let the child be kept safe from traffic. if you are walking yourself as an adult, you are expected to walk in a place where you see the incoming vehicle. And so if you are looking at the incoming vehicle, which is a safe place by all standard for you to walk, your child should be by the left hand side if the oncoming vehicle will pass by your right hand side. So it's safer to have the child at the extreme of your own position than having the child in your right hand side, the same side that the vehicle will come, even though you are facing the oncoming vehicle. And so by that walk, the child is laying in safety on the road. And be sure you are holding the hand of the child. Some young ones will want to struggle and say they want to walk on their own. Please hold the child's arm in such a way that the child will not slip off. Make sure you are holding the child's arm for safety reasons. Number 5, encourage your child to tell you her name and age. There are basic information that children at the toddler level are supposed to keep. When a child begins to talk, the child should be able to know her name. The child should be able to know her age. And from knowing her name and her age, you can go further to talk of the parent's name and next where they live. If the child has started school and will be able to play with figures, the phone numbers might be necessary. The next one, number 6, is that you teach your child simple songs like Two Little Birds and other childhood readings. There are 2 little birds sitting on the wall, one named Peter, one named Paul. Yeah, these are the things though they teach in school. But find out from the school what exactly they are teaching and see if you can continue the education at home, even though the child knows when she is at home and knows the difference between being at home and being in school. But that child will actually be glad to know that learning does not end only in school, but learning can continue at home. So find out from the school what they teach. I know that some teachers will be reluctant giving you that information, but it will help so that there will be a continuation of school things at home. Some of the children look forward to it. The next one is number 7. Give your child attention and praise when she follows instructions and show positive behavior, and limit attentions for defiant behaviors like playing tantrums. Teach your child acceptable ways to show that they are upset. The idea of playing tantrums, some people don't know why they are there. Some people don't know why the children behave the way they do. There are a lot of things that could lead to a child behaving that same way. What is tantrum in the first place? A child's expression of disappointment, sometimes from other people or even to herself, not seeing what she expected to see. And so sometimes some of them will scream at the top of their voice and start crying. Others will fall on the ground and start hitting their legs here and there. Or even some can start hitting you, the adults. These are ways that children want to, express their displeasures in what they are seeing. And so there is a need for you to talk to a child. Sometimes you find adults hitting the children when they play tantrum. Hitting them is not a solution. Shouting at them will not help. Let the child have confidence that whatever she wants, at least you will be able to pay attention to her, and providing what she wants becomes a secondary thing if you have it. So number 8, let your child help with simple chores in the house. Let your child help with the simple chores in the house. A lot of people will wait for children to get up to 9, 10 or 11 before you can even assign little chores like washing plates to them. Please don't wait. There are ages that they will be too old to bend down to do the regular chores. I will do some other videos in the future to look at what we are discussing now vis-a-vis the ages where a child is expected to do this or do that. But it is important also to note that if a child by herself has chosen to do a chore in the house, encourage that child no matter the age. If you are afraid that if she is going to wash your cutleries and crockeries, that is plates and spoons, that she will break some, let her wash the ones that are not breakable, so that you won't have to regret asking her to wash plates. Do those things to help the child. You are also helping yourself. Number 9, encourage your child to play with other children. Encourage them to interact with other children, because this helps the child to learn the value of sharing and friendship. Unfortunately, the lifestyle that we are all imbibing these days, the Western lifestyle, has taken us far away from what we Africans are known for. And so you come to a household where you find a building with 5 flats. The children are withheld, burglary proof here and there. And even when a child is crying that she wants to go out to play, you'll be looking at the safety of that child going out. My plea is that you survey the environment. Always think of the safety of the child though, but allow the child to interact with others. It gives the child the definition of sharing and what friendship is all about. Number 10, be clear and consistent when you discipline your child. Be very clear and very consistent when you discipline your child. Let the child know for what reason you are disciplining her. And at a point where the child makes a promise that such a situation will not occur again, please don't continue the discipline. I have a story of a friend who washed clothes and left the clothes in the care of the children and went to work. By the time she came back, the clothes were packed into the house and kept on the cushions. Unfortunately, there was rain as soon as she left the house, and so the children felt they were doing their mother a favor. They went out, packed all the clothes as wet as they were, and brought them into the parlor, left them on the cushion seats. The foams soaked water from the clothes, and the woman was very angry when she came back. She came back and downloaded the anger on the children. And so the next time she went out again, clothes washed, the sun was there, dried the clothes. At a point before she came back, it started drizzling. The eldest among the children, who was not there when that first incident happened, wanted to go and bring in the clothes. And they warned him that their mother had told them they should not bring in clothes on the line into the house. The young man was perplexed, but because he doesn't want trouble, had to obey the other siblings. And when the woman came back, she also descended on all of them and dealt with them badly. When she told me the story, I started laughing and I told her, the mistake you made was when that incident happened the first time, you never told them why you beat them. You were just angry and you needed to express the anger. And so they didn't want your trouble again. And that was why when it happened the second time, they were not encouraged to act on their own. So it is important that even when you intend to discipline a child, be sure that the child knows the reason for the disciplining. And when a child tells you, I am sorry, knowing fully well that I am sorry means I regret seeing this done and I promise it won't happen again, please let the child be. Number 11, help your child develop good language skill by speaking to her in complete sentences and using grown-up words. Help your child to use the correct words and phrases. It is also good that you ensure that such words and phrases are not the street type. Use correct words. Don't mince words when you talk to your child. It will help the child in developing her own vocabulary and also being able to interact with others. A child that grew up in a family where she is being talked to will not be shy to talk outside, and the use of words will not be limited in her. So we are looking at the number 12. Help your child through the steps to solve problems when she is upset. There are some children that even at the age of 9, 10, when they find difficulties in anything they intend to do, the next thing they do is to break down and start crying. It's not a right thing. Life is full of challenges. Let your child know that she will be facing these challenges. And so crying has never solved any problem before. Not any that I know, unless you have any yourself. Let the child learn that even in failure, you have attempted doing something. And the next to failure is success. It might not be the first thing that will come, but it will definitely come if as a child you are consistent. And so we look at the next one, the 13th one. Give your child a limited number of simple choices. Give your child a limited number of simple choices. You don't just throw everything to the child without asking the child to make a choice. And so if there are things that have choices, let the child be the one that will tell you, I prefer this to that. I want this and not that. And so when you keep throwing things at the child, that means you've not given the child the opportunity to make a choice. You see, I used to challenge school proprietors, for instance, on choices of color for the children that they are grooming. A lot of people have had this idea that, boys, blue is for boys, they go for boys, while pink is for girls, they go for girls. I refused to accept this. And there are people who started that ideology when children were growing up. And they grow up with the idea that everything they have around them as ladies are pink color. And so you have a mother who is also pinky. And they expect that the men will also be bluey. Life is not like that. If you want to identify the choice of color for your child, maybe a small plastic ball, 7 of them, 7 different colors, leave them for the child to pick. And if you do this 3 times, you find out that the child is always going to pick out of the collection of balls the very color that appeals to her. that is where you will start deciding the color of dress you should buy for your daughter, not necessarily the one that everybody goes for. If you take your child to a place where they are selling biscuits and they have collections of biscuits, you might have the opportunity of letting her sample the taste of the biscuits, and at a point she will settle for one. The other choices you are making and you are struggling to deliver to her might not be her own choice. Is it possible for a child to have a choice? Yes. A child has a right to have a choice. And so you don't force colors, you don't force food, items, drinks, and things like that into the throat of a child, and you expect acceptance at all times. Give your child the opportunity to make a choice, and that child will grow up with the perception that at all time she has a choice to make. It will also help you. There are times you should give your child liberty to choose what to do, but in such cases, endeavor to guide the child. Thank you so much for listening. I pray that these 13 points will make meaning to you. Review them as the cases are. Review them with time and see the ones that you will need to apply now, but they are all relevant. Subsequently, we go into the discussion of parenting, but now putting them within groups, and we look at what should be done to the children that are within that age bracket. Endeavor to live for our society children who must be seen to be better than you are. That is when we will clap for you and say you have done your best. God bless you. Thank you for listening.